Good lord, have I got a pleasant lore video for all of you. Alright, so in case you aren't in the loop recently, fellow Doors YouTuber Relx made a lore video attempting to explain the story behind the vacuum. You know, that sucky thing in the back door. Now, although that video is all fine and dandy, Relx brought up a very interesting point in it. A mini-theory that explains the origins of Sally, believe it or not, and that is what I want to touch up on in today's video. In this video, with the help of Relx's original theory, I'll be explaining what I believe is a very decent possibility for the origins of this little ankle-biter girl. So, with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so before we get to Sally, we need to discuss the vacuum. For those who don't know, in the back door, players can encounter a hazard known as the vacuum. These are pockets of pure nothingness, just empty space which, much like vacuums in real life, attempt to suck anything nearby into its unending and relentless void. In the subfloor, players can not only find areas exposed to the vacuum as decoration in the various rooms, but they can also be sucked into it by accidentally walking into a door that leads into one. Now, ever since vacuums were added, they always struck me as odd, as why does the back door just have areas of pure nothingness? And although I can't answer that in this video, the existence of vacuums does actually provide a possible explanation for Sally. Sally, for those who need a quick rundown, is an entity that can occasionally be found in the hotel, and their mechanics are quite interesting. The way it works is that they'll first appear outside a window before bursting into the room. They will then constantly chase the player until they catch up and attack you. They can be stopped by simply dropping an item, causing them to pick it up and play with it before despawning. Now normally, I don't really think entities like this have their own backstories, but a while back the developers did somewhat imply Sally has some sort of deeper narrative going on, and Relx's video actually did a decently good job explaining it. Essentially, Relx claims that Sally is a sort of manifestation of the vacuum, a creature born from its unending nothingness. Now, I know it seems weird connecting the two, but they actually did supply some decent evidence for their theory. For one, Sally physically looks like the vacuum. In-game, they are completely black, apart from their face, and no light reflects off their body, just like with the vacuum. It is as if they are made of that same nothingness that creates this hazard. Additionally, Sally originally spawns outside of a window, and that outside area does resemble a completely black void, so it's possible that too is part of the vacuum. So for Sally to spawn directly from it, who's to say they can't be made from it as well? Additionally, further evidence to support Sally's connection to the vacuum comes from their audio files. As you may have known, the vacuum is completely devoid of oxygen. Even Curious Light points this out if you die to it, and it can be seen actually sucking oxygen out of the room surrounding it. Now, when Sally attacks you, one of the sounds that can be heard is the player character breathing in and out after the attack. Here, take a listen. So, Relx pointed out that this could imply that when Sally attacks you, much like how the vacuum sucks out oxygen from its surroundings, Sally sucks it out of your player character, causing us to heavily breathe in and out after their attack to regain that lost air. Additionally, another audio file further proves that Sally potentially sucks the oxygen out of your body. After you get attacked by the entity, the suffocation sound effect and screen GUI will both be present. These effects only play in instances when the player is losing oxygen, which results in them losing consciousness, such as in fire damp rooms or underwater. However, although there is somewhat decent evidence for this theory, there is some stuff that could disprove it, and that is what I want to discuss now. For one, given how Seek's hands can be seen outside of windows, and how Figure was able to break out of the hotel by jumping through a window in the electrical room, only to jump right back in unharmed, it's possible outside of the hotel isn't where the vacuum is present, and it's just a normal sky. However, my counter-argument to this is that it's still possible that the vacuum exists outside of the hotel, but it's just not strong enough to pose any real threat. You see, in the back door, there are several instances of objects being right on the edge of the vacuum and not being sucked in. You can even stand right next to it and be totally fine. So it's a possibility this hazard isn't that threatening at all, and it's just somewhat slows you down with its sucking ability rather than immediately pulling you in. Now, I do know there are a few kinks to work out, such as the existence of rain and clouds, but I just thought I should mention this as it does kind of disprove one of the points I'm trying to make. Now, I do know that this theory is somewhat of a stretch, but I definitely do think this is quite an interesting explanation for the origins of Sally. So, to summarize, Doors YouTuber Relx theorized that Sally is actually a manifestation of the vacuum commonly found all throughout the back door, and I just wanted to highlight that theory in this video, as well as provide some more evidence for it, as I do think it's pretty plausible. So with all of that being said, make sure to check out Relx's video about all of this in the comments, and let me know what you think of this theory. Now, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.